Dinosaurs were once the largest creatures on Earth, but now it could be any animal. And while you might expect it from certain species, others will totally surprise you. Today, we're going to show you the largest animals ever caught on camera. And you'll definitely come out of this experience with a couple of new phobias. So subscribe to the channel and click the bell while you can. Wow, this is how a massive 180-kilogram gorilla drifts. Now you've seen it all, or have you? It took over 40 minutes to subdue this 554-kilogram Russian blue marlin, and all the men in the village to haul it to the scales. But this 700-kilogram marlin caught in Hawaii measured 5 meters in length and was on the verge of breaking the world record set in 1953 by Alfred Glazer Jr. when he caught a 707-kilogram marlin, a fish the size of a giraffe. Big Jake is officially the world's tallest horse. He stands at 210 centimeters and weighs as much as a Jeep, 2.6 tons. This Belgian is a bit shorter at only 195 centimeters, but this individual consumes $315 per day, which is enough to buy 2 electric cars a year. But why buy an electric car when you have Toby the Percher on? He's just as tall and can haul logs weighing over 2 tons. Meet a massive lobster that's 50 years old with claws larger than a man's hand. And that's not the limit, because lobsters can grow indefinitely. This guy was lucky to catch a centennial lobster as tall as he was, and this 10-kilogram lobster was saved from the frying pan by a kind woman. For $200, it can go back to the ocean to continue growing. A giant snail the size of this guy's face might seem huge, but the record terrestrial snail weighed 900 grams and measured 39.3 centimeters. Due to their large size, these giant African land snails are prohibited in the United States. They pose a threat to all vegetation in their path. Watch how this elephant seal plays with a car, reason enough to avoid it at all costs. After all, they weigh 2 tons, like a Dodge Charger. And these lobsters hijacked someone's yacht at the dock. They nearly sank it with their weight. Imagine what it's like to swim alongside a giant manta ray that's 5 meters wide and weighs 3 tons. But even that isn't as chilling as swimming between two of them with a combined length of 14 meters. Meet the Atlas mote, the world's largest butterfly with a wingspan of 30 centimeters. That's a 1-meter-long sandwich, folks. It's so large that you can't even see the face of the person behind it. Those memes no longer seem so funny. Believe it or not, the world's largest cow weighs over 2 tons, like a rhinoceros. This 7-year-old Holstein Friesian male stands at over 2 meters tall, and it's best not to mention hamburgers around him. This tiger is a hybrid between a lion and a tiger and inherits the enormous size of both. For example, Hercules weighs an incredible 408 kilograms and measures almost 365 centimeters. That's taller than a double-decker tourist bus. Now, let's meet Nock, who weighs a whopping 550 kilograms and has a length of 396 centimeters. That's like 2 sedans. I hate the number 155. Carp grow in size throughout their lives, so for this 68-kilogram fish to get so big, it would have taken several decades. This river giant weighs 75 kilograms, but it's far from the largest carp in history, which weighed 105 kilograms. That's a real Aquaman. A polar bear went down in history as the largest of its species, with a height of over 3 meters and a weight of a ton. That's like 3 Harley-Davidson motorcycles. The last thing you expect to find on the road is a 3-meter-long, 300-kilogram or more tiger. The only thing bigger is a Siberian tiger, which in terms of size is the closest thing to a saber-toothed cat. But the largest known cat was named Haper, measuring 3.32 meters and weighing 423 kilograms. Next to this fish, a 1.94-meter diver looks like a Raal shrimp. It's 3 meters wide and 4.3 meters long. But the largest mola mola weighed 1,600 kilograms and was caught in 1910. How big does a wolf have to be for a 60-centimeter tall dog to look like a puppy? Well, let's find out by taking a look at this huge Canadian wolf. An adult of this species can reach 160 centimeters and weigh 90 kilograms. The largest ever captured was a northeastern wolf trapped in Alaska in 1939, measuring 175 centimeters. This fisherman realizes he has caught a monstrous 3-meter fish, but that's nothing compared to a 352-centimeter white sturgeon that only took 25 minutes to be caught. However, the largest beluga sturgeon in history was caught in 1922 with a record length of 7 meters and a weight of 1,490 kilograms. That's twice the weight of a cow. But this giant rushes to give his friend a hug. The wingspan of a condor can reach up to 320 centimeters with a body length of 135 centimeters, making it the largest bird of prey. Imagine an anaconda as wide as a babook swimming under your boat. It would have ended the cruise immediately. But this couple decided to take a closer look. Jesus, anacondas usually don't grow more than 5 meters long and don't usually sunbathe. But there are exceptions to every rule. These snakes spend most of their lives underwater, venturing on land only to hunt. Although they could eat divers, anacondas are so enormous that it takes a giant crane to lift them. And the largest anaconda recorded in Brazil measured 6 meters long and weighed over 250 kilograms. And if you try to drag one of these little ones by the tail, you'll be fined $600 at best. At worst, you'll get bitten, which is only 3 times weaker than a lion's bite. This is what the largest Murray cod ever caught looks like. The fisherman took 14 minutes to reel in this 2.6-meter giant, with a record weight of 128 kilograms. It's incredible that it wasn't Hercules who hunted this half-ton, 2-meter-long boar, but they can get even bigger than that.
Look at these giants. Yes, they are 3 times bigger than a human, and sometimes they can be found.
Looking at this massive squid, I don't know how they came up with it. I'm just kidding. It's real. One of these big guys weighs 163 kilograms. But this one is half a ton and 11.8 meters longer, 1.5 times the height of a giraffe. If you thought rats were only scary because of their numbers, you're wrong. Real problems start when they grow larger than cats, measuring up to 40 centimeters. This massive Tasmanian crab weighs 6.8 kilograms and has a shell diameter of 38 centimeters. That's 100 times larger than a standard UK shore crab, or enough to make 160 crab cakes, if you dare. The opal frontera, with a height of 167 centimeters, could easily pass under this enormous moose. These animals stand 3 meters at the shoulder and weigh up to 800 kilograms. Plus, they have the largest antlers of all mammals, and the record had a wingspan of 188 centimeters. When this man received the puppy, he couldn't imagine it would grow into a giant 2.5 meters tall, like this man whose dog is already 1.5 times his size. This big fellow is named 𝑻𝑨𝑮𝑻𝑨𝑺, and his record weight is 103 kilograms. I'm not so sure the owner is the one taking him for a walk. At this point, I refuse to believe this isn't really a polar bear. Who needs a dog when you can have a Goliath beetle the size of a man's hand that's a bit larger? Head to Australia, and you'll find a 30-centimeter awestruck. 4 approves. Or you can always find a pet on some girl's back. But please, don't poke it with a Sharpie like this guy. We get it. This tarantula is enormous. Typical roosters aren't taller than a coffee table, about 60 centimeters, but this giant measures 1 meter. This turtle may look huge from the camera angle, but the leatherback turtle is actually the largest in the world. It held the record at 2.6 meters and 916 kilograms. Meanwhile, this Aldabra tortoise, at 200 years old, has grown a 120 centimeter long shell. So now imagine the age of this sea turtle if its head is half the length of a diver. And that's why Batman wears underwear over his suit. Jokes aside, golden crowned flying foxes really exist and have a wingspan of 170 centimeters. That's about as tall as Angelina Jolie. They only eat fruit, but that doesn't make them any less terrifying. What happens when a Watusi bull falls in love with a unicorn? Something like this. Each of their horns measures about 1 meter in length. It's like having 3 guitars on your head, and I wouldn't want to play any of them. The beast in front of you is a Watusi ankole bull that can weigh up to 730 kilograms. That's 9 times the weight of an average man. It's so important for them to show their strength that their horns grow insanely. Ankole's horns can reach up to 1.8 meters, about the same as a normal-sized bed, and each one of them weighs as much as a supermodel. The bull that held the record was named Pancho Villa. His huge horns measured 1.8 meters, or 1.5 Michael Jordans. The average kangaroo weighs about 60 kilograms. That is if it's not training at the gym 24/7 like this beast. And this one seems to be breaking stereotypes. Not okay, bro. Give me back my protein powder. This giant lion makes a 143-meter-tall Toyota Corolla and 16.5 centimeters look divine. Imagine the driver's reaction when parsing a 300-kilogram lion. Meanwhile, the largest one weighed 375 kilograms and measured 3 meters. No wonder it eats 2.5 tons of meat a year. Didn't we warn you that if you didn't subscribe, you'd find one of these in your bed? This legless creature can grow up to 42 centimeters in length and can have up to 382 legs. Trust me, it can run very fast. This is how the largest captive crocodile has breakfast. It measures 5.48 meters, not counting the missing part in the tail. And this is Brutus. He also measures 5.5 meters, weighs 2 tons, and enjoys eating sharks. That's enough for today. I now feel like the smallest thing in the world. What's the largest animal you've ever seen in your life? Share it in the comments, and we'll see you when we release the next video. Oh, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel,